Hello, my name is Mark Dahlen. I'm currently living in Nashville, Tennessee. I've been dealing with Lyme for probably the last 20 years or so. Um, my Lyme story started, I was laying on a beanbag in my girlfriend's basement. Felt really poorly, just chills and fever and sweats and this kind of thing. And I was laying there, and my left eye just involuntarily wandered across the room, and I was like, okay, this is something pretty serious. So I went to the doctor. I was, the second case of maybe 1,000 people who had come to him and saying, I have Lyme or think they do, and I was the second case that it was definitely confirmed. I had the classic bullseye rash on my lower back. He brought the whole office staff and medical staff in to see. It was kind of a bit of a show. It seemed a little odd to me, and one of the nurses gasped at it, and I thought, well, that's really could use a little more tact there to not make me feel so weird. But nonetheless, I was treated with the standard 3 weeks of doxycycline, and I felt better. So, at the time, I had no idea the serious nature of Lyme per se. Um, I'd been to the doctor before. You don't feel good. They give you some pills, and you go home, and you feel fine, and life goes on. So I didn't think anything else after it. After 3 weeks, I felt pretty good. Probably a year and a half later, I started having kind of stomach issues going on and started having some neurological issues going on. I had a hard time speaking, like I knew what I wanted to say, but I couldn't get the words to come out, and I started having, sharp pains in the side of my head and in my back. So I saw some neurologists. I had brain scans done. I had some white lesion matters on my brain. I had follow-ups of that over the years. Um, you know, I was put on different antibiotic things. I was put on antidepressants for a couple of days. I was like, nah, I can't do that. I don't like being on drugs. All sorts of kind of weird things going on with the stomach issues. So I saw a bunch of GI docs and that kind of stuff, and they put me on all sorts of pills and stuff for that. I talked to them about Lyme and thinking this might be an issue for it, and it was usually dismissed as no, no, this is a separate thing, and yada yada yada. Um, you know, my story is probably less about misdiagnosis on the front end as more about it being a catalyst for other issues. I certainly dealt with GI issues, and that kind of manifested more in autoimmunity. And I've dealt with a whole bunch of stuff and had several surgeries and been on tons and tons of pills and treatments, and both, Western medicine, but also holistic medicine, nutritional techniques and diets and all this kind of stuff. I tried a lot of stuff. I dealt with mercury toxicity, so I had to go through chelation processing. I did some of the biological Lyme treatments. Um, I had some really severe herxes going on. I used to travel quite a bit, so I would be on the road. Um, and I had a herx to some antibiotics I was on at the time. And, there was a morning I remember being in a hotel, and I woke up and all of my body just ached. It was just unbelievable. And my legs, my shins, everything like this felt like icicles. I mean, it took me 15 minutes to get out of bed to walk to the bathroom in a hotel. I mean, I felt like if I was going to stand up, put the weight of my body on my legs were just going to shatter. They felt like just icicles. So it was pretty terrible in that kind of herx kind of thing. I had herxes um, when I was going through biological Lyme treatment, um, where I had night sweats, just unbelievable night sweats. I would wake up just drenched head to toe, and I would dry off with a beach towel or whatever, and my sheets would be soaked through, and I'd lay some towels back down and dry off, crawl back into bed. 2 hours later, wake up just drenched in sweats again, same kind of thing. And this would happen. I mean, went on for 3, 4, 5 weeks during that treatment protocol. All being said, I'm sure I've seen 50 to 60 doctors over the last 15, 20 years. I've easily spent over $100,000 trying to get well. Um, right now I'm doing fairly well. So I mean that is hope, I think, for a lot of people that have gone through some things. It's hard for me to explain all the stuff I've gone through in a few minutes, but I mean, I still deal with some issues. I have peripheral neuropathy stuff going on. I still have to deal with some autoimmune issues, and I'm doing some various treatments. I'm kind of doing an experimental treatment right now, which I don't think I can quite talk about yet, but it's really promising, and so I'm super excited about that. I think mainly what I would want to, offer to the people going through Lyme or in the world. I know people right now are currently going through it. It's just that, you know, you can get through it, and there are resources out there to help you deal with it. And really, the gratitude is probably your greatest asset, even in the thick of the worst hurts or pain and all that stuff. There's always something to be grateful for, whether it's a glass of water or a ray of sunshine or your favorite socks. Gratitude is really the key to understanding what your life really means. And it's you go through things like this in your life, and I've read about it before, where people are like, this is, looking back, it's the greatest thing. I don't know if I totally feel that way yet or not. I certainly would be happy if I didn't go through any of it, but it certainly has caused me to do some real deep soul searching exploration of myself, and I've become really knowledgeable about health and wellness and nutrition and supplementation. Like I've taught a lot of doctors things. Um, Anyways, that's just a brief cap of my story.